Here we go, and it's time for another sprint zone. Here we're coming up County Road 5, and I am drifting back off of the front, taking a look at the posse, and this is a pretty sweet double pace line. Everybody's pretty much staying 2 by 2 correctly as we drift back through. It gets a little more raggedy as we drift back through here. We see a little bit of kind of half wheeling there, a little bit. Not certain what's going on there. There's definitely some half wheeling, and we should try to do better, but it's not that bad. Lots of people there. Got some celebrity. Ben Nelson in the blue there who missed the TTH. Got Marquetta who hasn't been in there in a long time. And you'll notice here we do something a little different than some of the other groups. We do a 2 by 2 and then everybody comes off on the left side. So a lot of people think like WTF, what is this about? Well, this is a little something that I've learned from the old days is that double pace line doesn't have to go 4 wide ever, whereas two people drift back at max only 3 wide. So it makes a lot of sense. Got Keith slotting in there, and we got Hernan drifting back nicely, looking for a place to slot in. There are places that open up and they fill in nicely, which is cool. I'm at the very back, just enjoying the view, checking out and seeing how things go. This is an opportunity for a lot of people that don't get a lot of camera time, and for folks who don't really get to see what the ride looks like. There's Marquetta, she's happy, see nobody else is back there, and we're having a good time. We'll notice that Ilka's there on her gravel bike, hanging out in the rear, enjoying the draft. She was a long time rider and then fell off for a while due to injuries or whatever, but she got lonely, and so she's back at the back enjoying something. Got Greg coming back in the blue. Greg coming off a little bit of illness, so it's his first ride back. Give him a little bit of camera time. Things are good here. And we see it looks like Don Doherty drifting back. Look at the quads on him. There's a big man, the man who is going to be strong, and he's been on the podium at least once this year, and life is good. Well, I don't have a whole lot to say about this, but you can see what's going on. And let's just skip ahead a little bit as we see this isn't all that exciting. So the pace hots up a little bit, and you can see there are strong men at the front. We got Byron and Roby, and they're going a little harder than I typically like before the sprint zone. And we've got a little bit of a wind coming off of our right shoulder. So there's a little bit of an echelon here. There's a little bit of separation starting to happen as I pulled up on the group. You can't really see it, but you got Eric way off the front. And he's done this before. I'm really not certain why, but it's a carrot up the road, and some people cannot resist a carrot. And I would think that that would be Roby. And of course, you got Byron up front. He's so strong. He doesn't know what he's doing up there. My water sitting in isn't horrible, but I'm a little tired from the weekend's racing, so I'd rather not be going that hard. Looking in the rears, we got Dean coming off 2 races, Mount Evans Hill Climb and the Foco Fondo. 2 days of racing in a row with only a Monday to recover. Got the Fort Collins cycling team there represented, and we're all riding pretty well here today as we approach the sprint zone. It's a pretty big group. We got like 20 riders, and I was pretty excited to come out. I had been a little bit tired from the weekend's events, a little bit of racing and riding, but when I saw how big the posse was, I was game for this one. Almost approaching the sprint zone, and I don't know what kind of jersey Ian has there. I haven't seen that one. It's really bright. We're coming into the sprint zone, and normally we kind of slow down, but because we have that carrot up the road and we got the green light, we're going to roll this one pretty fast. So anybody who is behind, if they are not paying close attention, they could be gapped off really easily. I always want to have a good position, and I don't want to have to be working too hard back there. Got JC coming back. JC's got a race tonight, so he's not going to be doing much work. Byron coming off the front did a lot of work. And we can see Roby and it looks like Marcelo just easing off the front there. They're going after Eric. Eric's a bit up the road, but I am not concerned because the seasoned rider knows we got the soups back here. And when I say soup, an abbreviation for supers, that would be Ben Nelson and Byron. So there is no concern back here. Plenty of horsepower. And then you've got other strongmen of note, Don Doherty and Keith and Danny Evans, etc. There is no reason to be going after Keith yet. Now, if that was Tyler up the road, as he did before, yeah, reason for concern. Eric's strong, but he's not that strong. You'll take a look at my watts, and I'm in a good position. The wind is slightly off of the left shoulder here. Ian's really in the slot that I want, and I'm taking a little bit of wind, but I'm like, he'll burn out soon enough, and I'll get my position nice in the rear. We got Don Doherty coming up on the inside. Danny Evans, a little tap on the hip there, letting them know he's there. That's what the racers do. That's something that the seasoned riders, and I like having the seasoned riders out that, as you can see, Danny wasn't spooked by it. He's a racer. He knows what he's doing. Life is good. So here goes Dean. And Dean was asking if he wanted to go after them. And I'm like, there's no real reason yet. There's plenty of time, and as for the rules of engagement, we really don't want to go that hard. Ben Nelson still up front, and he doesn't pay any attention to Dean for a couple of reasons. One, he doesn't need Dean's help. And two, it's too early. This is what the seasoned rider does. He listened to my instructions about starting and the rules of engagement. There's no reason to hit hard. We see we're bringing back JVP, who had gone after Roby and Marcelo. JVP hadn't been out for a while, and this is where the seasoned tactics, like myself, I know. There's no reason to go hard and chase people that are going to burn out. Or should I say non-GC contenders. Or should I say maybe Roby and Marcelo are GC, but they're not going to stay away from the soups. Dean dangling out there. I guess he thinks he's helping the rest of us. Not certain, but it's like basically whatever. It's the sprint zone. JVP being pulled back, and we have Carrie, aka Hollywood, on my wheel. And pretty much everyone is still here. Ilka, Isla, everybody. So we did a nice job of holding that together. Looking at rears here, my horsepower is kind of good, and Ben just taking it nice and easy as we bring Dean back without a problem. There's no sense of urgency here, and you can see that the seasoned riders and the strong men, they're just like, whatever. You can go off the front, do your 250, 300 watts, and I got that covered. And now we make the catch to the intermediate chase group. Roby with his jersey open, it must be pretty hot. And then Marcella, who was on his wheel, those two have given up the ghost. And you can see what it is like when you have TTH man, and not just any TTH man joining our group. It changes the color of everything. And strong seasoned riders, and if you're out to get yourself a little bit of fun off the front, yeah, that's a good thing. But you're not going to catch Eric. He's a strong man. I believe he did the Belgian waffle ride earlier this year. So he's strong. Dean coming back through the field as Ben continues to drive at the front. And looking at my wattage sitting in here, 230, 250. So you know Dean is throwing down, not Dean, I mean Ben is throwing down some watts here. Yeah. Everybody's still in tow, and I can see that a selection has been made. I think there's probably a few people that are maybe getting slightly guttered since the wind is slightly off the left shoulder here. I'm in a great position now that I've assumed the position that Ian had earlier. But still, I'm still bleeding off some watts and feeling a little bit spent from the weekend. But having the large group brings excitement. And Ben is perfectly happy, looking around, making certain people are here, knowing that it's going to bring people back. So here comes Roby up to the front to give Ben a hand. And Ben doesn't need a hand. Ben has no sense of urgency. He'll take what you give him, and he's going to pull up here. But honestly, for the amount of time that Roby is actually spending up here, Ben easily sucks in. and we can see that the catch is almost there. And it's these accelerations that can shred a group. And Roby's done. Like, what was that? And Ben's like, yeah, thank you very much for your service, little as it was. But Ben pretty much single-handedly brings back Eric, who's working really strongly here. He stands up, you know, doesn't swing the bike as much as I think he should, a la Thomas, maybe not that much, but at to each his own. And I slide back as that was a good effort. Roby grabbing the wheel, and now Byron comes through, Don Doherty, and truly the heads of state are up at the front. And now at this point, I'm basically guttered. Eric is riding really close to the right white line, not super close, but the anybody other than the second rider is probably guttered. So it's showing my wattage is actually pretty low, and maybe I'm tired or whatever, but I'm feeling guttered at this point. Hollywood back there, Keith back there, and we are strung out. 23 miles an hour, pretty good speed. Slight wind coming off the left shoulder, so it is keeping everybody in check. And now it's go time. Byron gives the signal, and I am unable to hang with this one. I just don't have what it takes. So I'm going to just sit in and try to get a little more shelter. Sitting on Roby's wheel with the open jersey. Must be a hot one today. I think it was like 91. That's got to be a little bit of drag, but maybe not that much since he has a lot of horsepower. So Byron at the front now. So Byron moves over to the left a little bit more, giving a lot more shelter because he's a wise man. He doesn't want to gutter people and ride them off the wheel that way. He wants to give them shelter and have a little competition. But at this point, I'm definitely guttered. 300 watts, and Ben makes the attack. Byron, looking strong there, is going to try to jump on the wheel, and as I wave goodbye to the crew, Keith comes through, Danny Evans comes through, and it's pretty much game over for yours truly. Looking at the scenery, I think Danny and it looks like Keith will probably make the catch. I wish I had the horsepower to join them, but I don't. Back here, we got Carey, who hasn't been riding that much, and we got Hernan, who had been there. I assume he was behind us, going to see if he can make the catch. Hernan's been riding really strong these days, and I'm looking for him someday to be consistently up with the strongest riders. I try to keep a good tempo at this point, you know, just to get some of it to work out. But I'm still a little fatigued from the ride over the weekend, and was feeling just a tad bit under the weather because of it. You know, it's that general fatigue after what 68 miles of 5,100 feet of vertical at altitude, that being Winter Park, doing the crooked gravel ride. Looking behind, we got Hollywood hanging in there. So you know when there's strong men like Carey that are dispatched, it's a strong crew up there. And this is due to the preponderance of TTH men. Don Doherty, Roby, Ben Nelson, and Byron, not to mention other racers, Danny and Keith. So pretty much the entire front group are racers. I'm sitting in here enjoying some shelter, enjoying the green kit. I don't know if I have enough to go around here, and maybe I did. You know, Carey makes the acceleration, and I'm thinking, okay. I try to keep things a little bit smoother, looking at my power meter, which my Garmin kind of one of the tabs fell off, so it won't stay in the mount now. So we got to figure out how to fix that. Get some JB weld out or make a special mount or something, but that's really annoying. Anyway, keep myself somewhat honest. You know, the mid 100s, heading up towards the finish line, and it's a good day. Well, that's about all. We can see what's going on here. Maybe we'll just do a quick fast forward through this one and see what is up the road here. Yep, a little bit further. Looks like I may have distance carry at some point. And there go the leaders. There goes, and here they are. Yep, get a good snapshot of probably what the order was. Yep, Ben, Byron, Roby, and Don. Yep, and a good time was had by all. I turn around early. There's Eric. And until next time, everybody, I enjoyed this one. Peace.